Today, Governor Gavin Newsom announcing the formation of an 80-person task force. It will develop economic recovery strategies during the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. The task force has some very high-profile names. Disney Executive Chairman Bob Iger, Apple CEO Tim Cook will participate. It'll be co-chaired by former presidential candidate Tom Steyer, who, by the way, still has the same tartan tie on today. Joining us now to talk more about this issue is author and business tax expert Toby Mathis, then Dr. Jen Caudle, still with us as well. Toby, let's begin with you. I know your big issue is let's get this economy moving again. What do you say to people who say, you know, it's really important to do this for public health and we don't want to see widespread death?
Yeah, I understand that. If they don't want to see widespread death, then maybe they should look at the impact of the cure. The cure should not be worse than the actual disease. And I don't think they're looking at those stats of what poverty does. And there's many studies that have showed that the average life expectancy of somebody who's in poverty versus somebody who's in the upper half is going to live anywhere from 10 to 20% less than that person who's in the higher category. So we know that poverty kills. There's been enough studies that we should be looking at that and saying, wait a second, are we putting people in harm's way in mass? You know, we're talking about millions of people. I think in my state alone, it's been over 1 million people put out of work that are going to suffer health repercussions.
I'm not sure the average person can get their head around these sort of abstract ideas that, you know, 10% reduction in life expectancy somewhere out there as opposed to people dying here and now. What's the alchemy we use? What is the right balance to strike? It's a really hard thing to strike.
What's your suggestion? You say just open the economy now? What are you looking to do?
No, I would say that we trust people. We don't need a nanny state. I think that you can open up businesses and give guidelines that say, hey, like, for example, I'm in what's considered an essential business in my state. And I feel far safer here than I do in Costco. I wouldn't go near a Costco right now. No offense to Costco, but I see people lined up outside of the Costco, like shoulder to shoulder waiting to get in. You see that at all the grocery stores. And so what we've taken is we've said certain activities are okay and you'll have people accumulating around each other and others are not. I think we can leave it up to our people to make decisions and act prudently.
I'm looking
but Dr. Jen, to you, when they did sort of leave it up to the people, at least here in Southern California, a lot of them made the wrong decision. I mean, they went hiking, they crowded the beaches, they went out en masse to the point that it was so absurd they had to shut it down. So can you just trust everybody to just sort of honestly do the right thing?
Yeah, I think we need to take a step back even from that question and go back to the idea of our lives. You know, as a physician, I can tell you, you know, losing anyone, and I think we would all agree here. I think we would all agree this. One life lost is one life lost too many. And the idea is that we know social distancing saves lives. Now, granted, what's going on in every individual state is different. No two states are alike, and we respect that. But Dr. Drew, you said literally in the beginning of this program, you said that in California, for example, in Los Angeles, that the cases are lower than predicted, as they are in other places and deaths as well. And why is that? It's because we've been social distancing. And my argument is, why not continue to do what we know actually works? Because as a doctor, as a person, as a daughter, as a sister, I know that every life matters. And I'm not saying the economy doesn't, because you're going to tweet me, people are going to tweet me and say,
we have to now stop driving cars then, because cars kill millions of people. I mean, if one life is our threshold, that's the question. What is our threshold? How do we figure this out?
Cars are not infectious.
I'm just saying, if one life is the threshold, then we have to stop driving cars because it could.
We're going to have to stop taking showers because we might slip and fall.
That's what I'm struggling with. How do we figure this out? One life is too many. So what do we do? You know, how do we get back to work?
I don't buy that argument. I don't think that's a fair comparison, first of all. But this is what I think
more people die of other activity. Like a lot of people die from obesity. A lot of people die, like right now, everybody's being forced to stay inside. I am sure that as doctors, you would agree they're probably not engaging in healthy activities. They're probably eating things that they can get a hold of. I've been through the grocery stores. There's not a lot there to pick from, especially not the healthy stuff. And so like there's an impact there that we should measure.
I don't feel like that's a fair comparison to the loss of lives that happened from COVID. And that's what my argument is. Saying that people are sitting in their living rooms eating unhealthy, therefore we should go back to work is not a fair comparison. What I'm saying is that we have to be thoughtful. Let me finish.
How about denying their liberty?
Yeah.
What we need to do is we need to be very thoughtful and we need to be very measured about how we go about reopening. No one is saying that the government should not reopen and that we shouldn't go back to work. Nobody in their right mind would say that. But what I'm saying as a healthcare provider is that doing this in a rash and irresponsible way is rash and irresponsible.
And it is interesting if you look at some of the details from back in 1918 when we had the Spanish flu. They did reopen. It was seen as too early, and then there was a second rash where a lot of people died in that moment as well.
We all agree. We really do all agree. We are all agreeing. But the question then becomes, so how do we do it?
Yeah.
When exactly? What's the number? That's the hard part. It's that exact specific.
This is a great debate, and unfortunately we're out of time. Right back with Dr. Drew answering your questions.